guys, today we're going to talk about the in vitro fertilization. And I put the word concern. I don't know if I should put the concern, but one of the things that I was reading yesterday was, guys, I was watching YouTube and one of this famous YouTuber decided to stop YouTube for a while because she just got really tired of the IVF. She was actually doing IVF for quite a while. And she wasn't getting any luck. She was just really sick of it. And she ended up saying, you know what? I'm just stopping this. I need a break, blah, blah, blah. Made her depressed, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that? Why? Because one of the things that I had when I heard about this was you just take stuff out of my belly. You know, you take the, egg out of my belly and then you get your husband to kind of do that, and then medical stuff happens and blah blah blah. So what's so hard about it? That was honestly my stupidest question of the day. That was actually what I thought. That's what I thought. So I was sitting down and I know a couple of friends who also wanted to do this, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna look into it. So I looked up this IVF thing, and it scared the crap out of me. It was so scary. It was really, really scary. And it actually changed my mind of thanking my child. I never thank my child right now for being pregnant. I actually was annoyed because I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything. All I've been doing was being in bed, and that's what I hate the most. My personality, we don't like being in bed. We like to be active, we like to do things, we like to accomplish things, we like to see some results. This pregnancy is not helping me with that. So I was like, maybe this would be an interesting thing to bring up for you guys. So it's actually, I want to highlight, they say it's a complex series of procedure, and I was like, what makes it complex? Because you're simple-minded. How do you get pregnant, guys? Well, how do you get pregnant? Anyone know the answer? You have the guy's sperm, kind of, it goes to my egg, and then they kind of do like the ba da 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 da, and then it's like, ta-da! Baby is made, right? So if you basically take out, in my mind, like I said earlier, you take the egg from my body, and then you make your husband watch some OES stuff, and then get his little like spermies, and then you like do it in the thing, and then it's ta-da, right? That was actually what I had in mind. But guys, this is side story. I was talking to me about this, but he did say that if we're doing this IVF thing, you actually there's actually porn in the hospital for you guys to watch so that you can make sperms. And I was like, so you actually want to do it in the hospital? He's like, well, how are you? It's not like I'm just gonna be like making sperms out of nothing. And I'm like, that's true. That's a great point of view. So anyway, that's kind of side story. So there's complex procedures, and someone asked, what's complex? That's a great question. That's the same question I had. I was like, what makes it complex? So during IVF, mature eggs, I think we want to highlight the word mature eggs, because right now my eggs became mature, and that's how I got my bebés, right? Are collected from ovaries and fertilized by sperms in a lab. See, I still got the basic idea concept down, right? And so one full cycle of IVF takes about 3 weeks. Sometimes these steps are split into different parts, and the procedure can get longer. Not bad. if you just read this, not bad. IVF isn't that bad. Why go through the whole like, oh yeah, procedure, and then like kind of guess on seeing if the sperms could like swim to my ovaries, right? If you could just go through this. Now, it's the most effective form currently, I guess. The procedure can be done using a couple's own eggs and sperm, or IVF may involve eggs, sperms, or embryos from a known or anonymous donors. Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know about that. So I could basically have gotten like BTS Jin Oppa's babies. I mean, it's not like he'd be doing anything like this, but that'd be really cool. I'd be having a very attractive baby, right? So here is the most important highlight, I think, of this story, is that your chances of having a healthy baby using IVF depends on many factors, such as your age and the cause of infertility. In addition, IVF can be time-consuming, expensive, and invasive. It's like, time-consuming? You said just 3 weeks. That's just one full cycle. So then, you know, why it's done, you guys, everyone knows. If you can't get pregnant, you want to do this. I've seen a lot of friends around me who's in their 30s. I have 2 friends who's in their 30s. They're trying to get babies, and they told me, Jinri, if you are gonna get married, you're gonna have kids, do it ASAP. Do not wait for the wedding. I trusted them, and this happened. But unlike me, there's people who are having a hard time, either because their body isn't healthy, or some things probably issue with maybe the women's body or the men's body. You never know. Or the worst case scenario is that they're both healthy. It's just that there's something in between. There's a factor that cannot be solved, which is the worst case, and that's what makes a lot of pregnant women very depressed, or women who tries to get pregnant depressed. Saddest thing ever. So yeah. Now, a couple of risks that I wanted to talk to you guys today is, people say it's hard. The first thing that comes to your mind is, why is it hard? Like I said, you just stuff, right? You just get the eggs. But they did say it has to be like, you know, in that right status. The egg has to be in a good status. So what makes it in that status? You actually have to take a lot of steps that I did not know about. I actually looked it up, and I realized that you have to be poking your own belly with needles every day at the right time. And the thing that you're poking it like the stuff that you're putting it into your body it just makes the women go kind of crazy. I think it probably has something, I feel like, I'm not sure, this is why we're reading about it, but personally I feel like that has something to do with maybe some neural issues, because first of all, it makes you depressed. There's a lot of side effects. Let's just read it before Jinri just goes babbling on from what she read yesterday. So the risk of IVF includes multiple births. So increase the risk of multiple births if more than one embryo is transferred to your uterus. Oh, I didn't know about that. Premature delivery and low birth rate. Oh, wait. Wow. And having a low birth weight sucks. Actually, Mia came out early. He was, I think, 9. I think he said, his mom said maybe 8 months. So he had to be in the hospital for 2 months, and that's what makes pregnant women more depressed than they should be. Because their weight they're not fully, developed. So, and then what the heck is ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome? Wow, use of injectable fertility drugs. This is what I meant by when you had to poke it in your belly, which there was someone who took a picture of her poking herself, and I was like, man, she said she got used to it by 3 days because it doesn't hurt that much, but that really still is awful. To induce ovulation can cause ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome, basically where your ovaries become swollen and painful. So there was actually pictures that I saw. I didn't bring it for chat because it's probably TOS to bring in, but her belly was like, I think also because of like the injection that they have to do, it was also swollen outside and painful, and you get all these cramps. Some girls, it's not as bad. Some girls, it gets worse to a point that you faint. There were cases where some of the girls actually fainted. She called her husband. She wasn't able to speak. Oh, she could be like, I don't know where my house is. Where's our house? That's what she kept saying, because she went to the hospital because she wasn't feeling good. From her hospital to her house, she couldn't come home. She called her husband. She's like, I need to go home. She's like, okay, let's get a cab. Where are you? She couldn't answer that question, and she didn't know where her house was, and she ended up fainting. So lots of really, and of course that's definitely going to be the extreme. There's probably those who haven't had this extreme cases, but in the end, it's still painful. It's still, you know, it's definitely hard for the women. So symptoms typically last a week and include mild abdominal pain, bloating, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. This is all the ones that I read. I was like, holy cow. So if you become pregnant, however, your symptoms might last several weeks, which makes sense because that's also the normal symptoms of pregnancy in the early stage. So, but maybe you could get it worse. We don't have swelling happening though. At least that's not what I got. So. And then it's possible to develop a more severe form where it could cause rapid weight gain and shortness of breath. And I'm guessing that's kind of the case that happened with the girl that I read about. Miscarriage, the rate of miscarriage for women who conceive using IVF with fresh embryos is similar to that of women who conceive naturally. But the rate increased with maternal age. Oh, I didn't know about this one. No, I didn't have IVF. And then there's also the complication in the procedure where you use the needle to collect eggs could possibly cause bleeding, infection, and damage in the bowel, bladder, or a blood vessel. Wow, I didn't read about this. This is so crazy. Whoa! What the heck? And then there's an ectopic pregnancy. Wow. Oh, I read about this where the fertilized egg implants outside the uterus, usually in a fallopian tube, where the fertilized egg cannot survive outside the uterus and there's no way to continue the pregnancy. Wow, this one's a really dangerous one. Birth defects. The age of the woman, the mother, is the primary risk factor in the development of birth defects, no matter how the child is conceived. So I guess this one's kind of eh. And then there are some early studies suggest that there may be a link between certain medications used to stimulate egg growth and the development of a specific type of a ovarian tumor. And stress. So it can be financially, physically, and emotionally draining. Support, da. So let's talk about cost. It probably varies depending on countries, where you're located, that's probably countries, and what kind of insurance you have. But some people, at least in Korea, it could go up to like thousands to even 10,000. I guess in US it's gonna be more because it's a medical procedure. It's actually a legit procedure that you go through. In Korea, at least, because they have a low birth rate, they do a lot of government funding for this fertilization to happen. So some would end up maybe paying at most $5,000. Like I said, it depends. It varies on region. It varies on what type of situation you're in. But 5,000 for someone could be not bad. You know, it's not that much big of a money, but for some, that could be a lot of money. 5,000 is like, holy cow. So, and guys, the worst thing is it's still a chance. It's not 5,000, okay, you're gonna get pregnant. It's 5,000, you have a chance to get pregnant. So if that fails, maybe you have to add on extra to make it another possibility. So you know what I compared this with yesterday? Who played FIFA here? Who played that FIFA thing where you pay to open up a card? You know those type of games where you buy those pack of cards and you get the chance to get like Ronaldo. And each pack basically costs $5,000 and you have a chance to get a baby. That would suck. So your cousin had 1/3 that failed. Oh, that's really sad. So like I said, that's the main, you know, side effect through this. It's not fun, but if you really want to get pregnant, that's why you should do it, right? So how you prepare, at least use through Mayo Clinic. I've actually not read in depth about it, so we'll have to see. So the clinic's success rate depends on many factors. These include patient's age and medical issues. Oh, Jenny, thanks for 10 gifted subs. Yay! To those women out there who are doing the IVF, let's support them. Let's go, pregnant women. You can do it. Fighting. So, as well as the clinic's treatment, population, and then the approach. So you definitely need to figure out which clinic you want to go to. Yes, and I finally won. And then before beginning a cycle, using your own eggs and sperm, your partner and you need to do various screening, which I didn't also know about that. It's like you have to prep to see if you are ready to get a baby. So I guess these are all the screenings you have to do. The ovarian reserve testing to determine the quantity and quality of your eggs. I guess you all do all these testings through your blood. And then the semen analysis. This sounds kind of interesting. So, and then there's the infectious disease screening for HIVs. And all these testing, wow. And then before beginning a cycle of IVF, consider important questions including how many embryos will be transferred. So it depends based on your age and number of eggs retrieved, since the rate of the implantation is lower for older women. More embryos are usually transferred. So I'm guessing if there's more being transferred, does that mean it's going to be costly? I hope that doesn't have anything to do with it. Most doctors follow specific guidelines to prevent a higher order multiple pregnancy, such as triplets or more. Holy cow. And so make sure you talk with your doctors about how many you're going to do that. And then what will you do with the extra embryos? Some can be frozen, but then not all of them. So that's something that you have to discuss. How will you handle a multiple pregnancy? So if you're getting like triplets, what you're gonna do? And have you considered the potential complications associated with using donor eggs, sperms, da 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 da? So there's lots of things, lots and lots of things. Holy cow. So I guess once there's a transfer procedure going on, you could still resume your daily activities. However, your ovaries may still be enlarged. Consider avoiding vigorous activities, which could cause discomfort. And then the typical side effects include passing a small amount of clear or bloody fluid shortly after the procedure, breast tenderness, mild bloating, mild cramping, constipation. So after about 12 days to 2 weeks after the egg retrieval, your doctor will test a sample of your blood to detect whether you're pregnant. Ah, isn't that like so many things to consider? It's not just like, okay, we just done this like culturing the egg in, but now we're gonna put that in your body and have to check if it's fitting well. So if you're pregnant, basically the doctor's like, congratulations, right? And then if you're not pregnant, you'll stop taking the progesterone and likely get your period within a week. So if you don't get your period or have unusual bleeding, contact your doctor. If you're interested in attempting another cycle of IVF, your doctor might suggest steps you can take to improve your chances of getting pregnant through IVF. You know what that means? You just lost $5,000, man. Well, not only you failed for pregnancy, you lost the money, you wasted your energy. What happens, guys, is a lot of females end up having to stop working because of this. Because of going through the IVF, there's factors of like their side effects are really bad, as in you want to sleep. You wanna like, I think there's a lot of headaches. There's so many side effects that you just can't deal with. So they're like, I can't work. And that's happening a lot in Korea. They actually stop working because the procedure itself is long. Some girl got their injection starting at 8:30. So every 8:30 like a.m. she's injecting, and the whole day she's like a zombie. She can't do anything. So the chances of giving birth to a healthy baby after using IVF depends on various factors like the maternal age, the status, the reproductive history, cause of infertility, and lifestyle cycle factors. So smoking, drinking, and everything, caffeine, excessive caffeine, certain medications, blah blah blah. So we just learned IVF. A couple of things I wanted to add in this that I read about also yesterday that might be interesting for you guys is this is one of the biggest reasons why people are getting depressed because of the IVF. Like I said, all the procedure, it takes a long step. Even the prep, when I read the whole story, there's blogs about what makes, it happen. Like the in-depth procedure that girls wrote. They're like, the first day, I went to the hospital. The next, like 3 days, we got a bunch of testings, not just blood testing. We got some ultrasound, blah, blah, blah. We also got another set of blood testing. And then when they're starting the injection, you basically do injection for like 12 days in a row. Sometimes there's just one injection. Sometimes it goes up to 3 injections. You just get tired. Not like also the side effect itself, but the fact that every day you have to be healthy, you have to be in a good body condition, really sucks. It really sucks. So after understanding how this works, one of the things that I wanted to conclude is, girls, if you guys are really interested in having a baby, try to get them early as possible and be in a healthy condition. You know why I was really lucky in having a baby is actually my body wasn't in good, it was in good health, but I love drinking. I drink, if I have to count. My chat actually said I'm alcoholic because you know what? Out of 7 days in a week, maybe I won't be drinking 2 days, right? My chat knows. But luckily what happened was because of my wedding and I wanted to look nice in my wedding dress, I actually didn't drink for almost 2 months. 3 months maybe, starting January after I came back from my Japan trip of drinking a lot, I was like, okay, I really need to be on a diet. My wedding is in March 26th. I gotta get prepared for my body shape. Not the inside, but the outside, right? And you want to have the nice body figure and everything. So I stopped drinking. I went to bed early too, because, you know, like, your face, to make yourself look pretty, you need a good 8 hours sleep. That's why people in Korea at least say beauties sleep a lot. There's actually like some saying about that. I'm like, no, I don't like to sleep. So that's kind of the thing. And I'm young. I'm sorry if you want to, you know, I'm sorry if you want to like live through your whole life of like accomplishing everything and then getting a baby, but the chances are low, and you'd be having to do the IVF. Well, you don't have to do it. If you're really lucky and you stay healthy till whatever, that's great. But the other choice that you're gonna have is gonna cost you so much money. So I know that it sucks when a woman is pregnant, that you'd be having to sacrifice your career and everything. But let's face it, nothing is fair, right? I think you just have to enjoy it. Pregnancy is another nature, like Mother Nature, that you're gonna have to enjoy it. So that being said, you know what the guys have to do is really caring. So you gotta work as a team. And some people treat pregnancy and everything not as a teamwork. Sometimes they actually go, hey, you're pregnant, you do all the pregnancy stuff. Like, I would kill my husband. Oh, sorry, maybe I shouldn't use the kill, but I would be very upset if my husband had that attitude. So for you guys out there who are thinking about pregnancy and everything, you really, really need to step in and do whatever. You basically, this is when you have to treat her as a queen. She may be working because of your house situation. She can't stop working when she's either pregnant and everything. Then you gotta step in and do the chores and everything, because being a pregnant woman sucks. You know what I hated the moment I was pregnant? You know what I hated the most? When people said it's a blessing for you to get pregnant. I hated that. I'm like, okay, I know I don't care about the baby inside of me. My whole body is changing. My boobas got bigger. My butt's getting bigger. My thighs are getting bigger. My belly's getting bigger. I've been under 53 for my whole entire life, and the fact that it's going up to hit a different number, a different, like, up to a 6 is not acceptable for me, but I just have to embrace it. But I didn't like that until I read about IVF, and I feel like I should be lucky that mine came naturally. So yeah, that's true. Just as bad as sorry for your loss. It's like, just don't say anything. But anyways, just in terms of the IVF out there, for anyone who's trying it, really good luck. It just really sucks that there's even the fact that there's a chance of you getting pregnant. It's not 100% you're getting pregnant, not even 99.999%. It's 100%. So there's a lot of people in Korea who's going through this procedure, and still the rate of getting pregnant is low. It's unfortunate. So I feel like, at least since we know that a couple of the world just in general has been having a low birth rate, guys, it's gonna definitely suck when you have to be taking your kid, or when you have to be congratulating your kid for graduating college when you're 60 or 70. So if you're gonna really think about getting married and having kids, highly recommend having them early, so you guys can do it. But anyways, this was in vitro fertilization. Even the word is hard, guys. This was IVF. I hope you guys learned a little. I got to learn a little yesterday. It really worried me, and I really thank my baby for, you know, now I understand why people are saying it's a blessing. It is a blessing, but don't ever say that in the beginning. Just be like, oh, how's your body, right? But anyways, this was IVF. I hope you guys, like I said, learned something. Pregnancy is not easy. Nothing's always easy, right? But this is also extra hard things, and it's something that guys never understand because you don't have to go through it. And I totally understand. If I were a single woman, I wouldn't even have known about IVF this well. So I thought it was a great time for us to kind of step in and understand what IVF is, the side effects, and what the women has to go through. So what you guys should be doing for, you know, what you guys have to be doing as a man if you guys are watching, to help your significant other go through the process. So if she makes you buy McFlurry at 12 a.m., you better be going outside getting some McFlurries. So yeah, let's see some questions. Sorry, I wasn't reading chat. I wanted to get my thoughts through before we doing it. So heard of a story where a wife demanded using the semen of some other man that wasn't her husband because he wasn't alpha enough? What? Okay, that's just sad. That's really sad. 2022, the national average in the USA is estimated to be 12.5k per attempt. Could be up to 25 to 30k in US. Guys, who has money to spend for that? Oh, of course, definitely yes. What extent? It's emphasizing on depending on the location and number of tests and meds you need. But who has that money? I'm sorry, I don't. I'm poor. Oh, guys, let's start a donation bar. Let's start a donation bar, guys. So actually, that would be something important to write down is what it takes. Wow, 12.5k. You know what you can buy with 12.5k? You can buy a house in like suburban area, or you could even buy a car. You can't buy Tesla, right? Tesla's what, 20k, 30k? I was thinking like in like far like Arizona. Sorry for people living in Arizona, right? No, is it more than that? Just kidding. Still gonna be 8 figures? Okay, well, still. There's a lot of risk related to IVF pregnancy. I respect all mothers who went through it. Yeah, it is a blessing. And I never understood the word blessing. I did have a little like mom moment yesterday of, oh my God, thank God we didn't have to go through that issue. So, but for some people, it's the only option they have left if it works. Yes, that's the worst about it is that, so I know one of my so Mia's friend, sorry to bring his friend up, has been taking Folicin, which is a type of vitamin. It could also be called B9 or BM. Or so B9 or vitamin M. Folate. Yeah, and this is something that you must take during pregnancy. So what Mia's friend couple is doing is the guy and the girl is taking this to increase the chance of pregnancy. What this is good for is for the baby's like nerves and blood development is why it's good, but I guess it also helps with some type of pregnancy issue. Folate, folic acid. So this actually is to prevent and treat low blood levels of folate and high blood levels of homos. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. So people who are pregnant or might become pregnant usually take this to prevent serious birth defects. Wow. So, a lot of people usually take this during birth. Yeah, this definitely does not sound fun. Like, guys, if it's possible, try to do the make that work instead of going through this procedure. So can you prep a bunch so that you have a ready-made one to inject if one fails? Prep what bunch? Artificial womb, assuming it works just as well, will be a big help. So that's another interesting thing is artificial womb, guys. Is this actually a thing? I actually don't know about artificial wombs, but I was thinking, since I don't want to go through the pregnancy, what if I could just have this baby in like a robotic female AI robot, like, you know, robotic female, and just have all like the thing, and then she gets pregnant and I don't, right? But I feel like then I won't be as attached to my child. And it definitely, this is something that varies depending on the moms, because people definitely do have like surrogate, or you could even adopt kids. But personally, I would rather have like connections of giving birth than going through that steps. But I mean, I don't diss those people who do it, but for me, I would want to kind of go through the whole procedure, having to deal with it, and having to tell my kid, hey, when you were in my body, you know what I had to go through? Now give me 5K. No, I'm not going to say that, but it's nice to feel it. It's really important because I also get to appreciate my body as much by having a kid. So I think the attachment is definitely different when you actually have the baby versus when someone else has it for you. How many women go through that and turns out it's because the guy's problem? Would suck, guys. That would just suck. Sorry, the McFlurry machine. So IVF definitely has risk. You can't measure the chances because it's not the procedure itself. It also depends. There's too many factors to depend on the procedure. But you know, if you're lucky, it's basically, it's basically winning the lottery, I feel like. You know, some people have luck, they have some knowledge. You can make it 777, or what's that, slot machine? You go it one time, you have that chance, but basically you're paying $5,000 or $12,000 to run one slot machine to see if you're gonna hit the jackpot of having a baby. Right? So anyways, this was IVF. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for asking a lot of fun questions, and thanks for providing information such as how much it costs and everything. So if you guys have other questions, don't forget to leave a comment below, try to answer it, or try to talk among with my viewers. But this was all for my IVF discussion. Hope you guys enjoyed it and hope you guys learned something. Bye.